Well, we're live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Vape Talk UK episode 104. Those numbers are getting so big. What have we called this episode? On the road again. That's right.
I think you missed a trick there with Rogue Mahone, though, Stu.
Yeah. To be fair, I feel like I missed quite a few tricks on naming this week's show, to be fair. I always just do the first thing that comes into my head, mate. But for some reason, that was it. So
why not?
I am joined this week by the amazing grumpy vapor Dale Wilkinson. Right. Before we carry on, I'm really poorly, right? So my head is fucked at the moment. So I'm going to do my best. Damon Fairhurst, the grumpy vapor. Say hello, mate.
Mate, I have massive empathy for you. It's been like the house of death all week here this week. We've been like flued up to the eyeballs. So yeah, evening, mate. I feel for you.
The big man at Psychosis Inc., Chris JB. Say hello, bud.
Hello, bud.
All right.
Right.
Our Thomas Wood from Endless Mods UK.
What's going on, guys?
What's going on, Tom? And our special guest tonight, Dale TYV, fucking tactful as fuck Wilkinson.
Hello.
There he is.
Tom, can you shut your blinds, mate?
Yeah, Dale's very kindly agreed to come along and shed a bit of light on the situation with Rogue. So I know a few of you are wanting to know what's going on there. But before we get to that, we've got to do that usual what thou vaping on bollocks. So Thomas, what are you vaping on this week, mate?
Neochrome Endless Empress mod with the marmalade from the Jam Vape Co. We've all smashed a few bottles of that out. It's absolutely fucking lush. And I'm also on the Arthur, and I told you, Stuart, I would put an Nautilus 2 on top of this.
You're a fucking dickhead.
Nautilus 2 on top of the Arctic Dolphin Arthur, fucking with the V-Juice, Purple Rain 12 milligram.
That is
And
running
that's
empty. That mod and Atty combo is just running empty, mate.
It's not the one. It's not the one.
You should see how fucking good that looks with a Pandora on it.
It does actually look really good with the Pandora on it.
It looks the bollocks, and he's put that fucking thing on it.
It's the mirror finish on the top here. That sits really nice with the Pandora. It looks really nice with the mirror finish Pandora. But I want my 12 milligrams, so.
Put 12 milligram of Pandora, mate. No one's stopping you.
How I build, though.
To be fair, mate, I've got a high tight airflow tank on mine, but not a Nautilus.
So, like, to be fair, Nautilus is shit up. Don't insult Nautilus.
I've got a Nautilus. I love it. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Tom, can you shut your blinds, mate? Because it's bad enough.
No, I'm sorry, I can't shut the blinds. I do apologise.
You're stuck in your arse groove.
He's bottom half naked again, isn't he?
You're a bit glary on the right-hand side, though, Chris, to be fair. That's better.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No,
Chris is actually completely frozen for me. I've completely lost him.
no, Chris is in his spinny chair, so he can spin where the fuck he wants.
Yeah. I'll have to shut the blinds. I can be naked from the waist down.
And because Chris has been a cunt. Chris has been a cunt. Chris, what are you vaping?
I am vaping on. God, I was going to take a hit then, but I'm going to check and make sure it is wet. It is wet. I'm vaping on a Frostbox with the Death Trap on it. It doesn't quite fit flush, but I can
Fucking does half.
Quite fit flushed. Show us that.
Hang over for days. That looks like your belly hanging over your trousers.
No,
To be fair, I've got a Beast Para Series Batman plastique, which I was going to use, but I couldn't be asked to find 4 batteries that were married. But I'm vaping Jarvis on that. It's just got a big, fat, dirty single coil in it.
What's Jarvis taste of, Chris?
Strawberries and cream.
Do you even care, Chris, what stuff tastes of? Because sometimes I get it sometimes that maybe you're not that bothered about what juice you're vaping on.
He definitely don't, man. He tastes it is juice.
Fuck you. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, it's strawberries and cream. It's really nice. But I don't. I'm not you that has to review everything about my life. Oh, that sex tonight was a 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. It was a fucking 8 out of 10. That's what you said to me anyway.
Yeah, like all of a sudden everyone's a critic. I'm vaping also on the Admiral in white brass. And I'm vaping Razzle Dazzle by Juice Papa, which is it's like a blue raspberry cotton candy. Oh, it's banging.
Now, I don't want to sound like I'm taking the piss, but how does white brass differ to brass? Because it looks brass coloured to me.
It's hard to see because it's got my grubby chicken tikka fingerprints all over it, but it's like halfway between stainless and brass.
So should it maybe be called light brass as opposed to white brass?
It's just called white brass, but like if you look next to stainless, it's not that far off.
It's like white and gold, though, isn't it? It's not white. It's probably just silver, and we're all being lied to.
Seems to me people are just making it harder to match mods and atties.
I know. That's what I was thinking.
It's just aluminium, Chris, and you've been fucking mugged off.
Nah, to be honest, it looks good with both stainless and brass, so I think there's a bonus to it. But yeah, I'm also vaping on Zibilid box with Mr. Salty Liquid, 45 milligram though. There,
How do you manage that?
Oh, well, when you buy it directly from the States and you stock up before TPD, you can get away with that. But I'm running empty. Well, I'm running empty. My stocks are beginning to diminish, so I'm debating about whether trying to chuck in a cheeky order or hope he gets through customs.
Playing with fire.
In for a penny, in for a pound, I suppose.
Don't give a fuck you, do you, mate?
No, I'm rebel, mate. But yeah, it's a dependency that I have now, and I can't get it, so I'll just end up like dripping nicotine under my tongue or something. I won't really, by the way, just so James doesn't start getting on his eye horse and going a bit nuts at me. But yeah, are we vaping on, Dale? I'm gonna refresh because people are freezing.
Right, I am on Therion 75C Cleator with obviously Jack Vapor Raspberry in it. Nothing ever changes there. Oh, I am on 3 now, solid 3. The 6 is dead and gone. And I'm on my British Racing Green powder coated Rogue Force with a nice tip from, I think Ian Craggs did it. And I'm on the new TW Atty Boy. Vengeance. Sorry, no, TW Atty Boy Revengeance. It tastes a little bit bitter, but other than that, it's really nice. Actually, really fucking nice.
It's a little bit salty, like just salty.
Has it got any cooling agent in it?
Fuck me.
No, just a bit sour.
It
tastes a little bit like it's had its arse handed to it, but
is it a new range from Totally Wicked? Is that what the TW stands for?
Yeah, we'll go with that.
That and Total Wanker.
Well, that works.
That's what I was trying to think of, David. Couldn't get there. But yeah, that's what I'm vaping on. It's cracking juice and a bit sour.
Pass it over then, Dale.
Huh?
Pass it to someone else then.
Who's left? Damon?
Damon, Stu, Tom. Tom's been on there.
Damon.
Damon, all right. Evening, Dale. I'm glad you're in good form anyway. I'm vaping on the Minikin V2 with the old Gaia on top of it. With what's in there? No, it's not that one. It's that one. Boston Bad Boy. Still vaping on this. It's bloody good, isn't it? You did well there, Dale.
Nice.
Very, very good juice.
It's given me a base for something else I'm working on. I had inspiration from McDonald's on Sunday, so I'm working on a
Tell me it's chips dipped in chocolate milkshake.
a Mississippi mud pie cheesecake.
Oh, fuck's sake, that's not the same, is it?
When did you get that from McDonald's?
They got them at Flurry.
Huh?
Spotted it over there in Skeggy, so I was like, you know what, I will make that.
I'm sure you can make it taste better than McDonald's, though.
No, mate, pretty fucking nice.
Oh, tough, no. And the ever-changing Pandora Plastique with the Pandora on top. Brilliant.
What on, Stu?
You what?
We vaping on, Stu.
and in there, I'm squonked up with custard donut from TYV as well. It's a TYV themed week, isn't it? So Stuart,
Yes, mate.
when did you lose your virginity, and what are you vaping on, and what was your last session of crochet like?
Let's see. I lost my virginity in the year 1999.
Wow. Jesus Christ, you're
How old are
young.
you?
I'm 32.
Holy
Okay.
fuck.
25.
My last crochet session hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But
What are you
I've
vaping on,
got some
mate?
fucking lovely stuff this week. I've got my limited edition number 15 Deadpool Clean. Look at that. Come on, focus.
Your camera's moody as fuck.
Yeah, my camera's being a dickhead today, to be fair. It just won't focus, will it? There we go. Look at that. Look at that.
Nice.
Yeah, proper nice. Courtesy of Mr. Paul Harrison. You fucking lovely man, you. Absolutely stoked to have grabbed that. And I'm back on the old Wicklicker Carnival on there. Fancied a little
Which
bit
one's
of that.
Carnival?
Pardon?
Which one's Carnival again?
That is the Cholo Sugar Skull Cake and Glazed O-Rings.
Jesus, they are heavy juices.
They are very, very concentrate heavy, yeah.
I really think I'm enjoying them for about 5 minutes, and then I think this is way too much. I can't do more than about 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I think they're cracking. They just taste very diabetic.
They are
Very
sweet.
much so, yeah.
There's so much sweetener in them.
Very sweet, yeah.
And then I've also got the Arctic Dolphin Arthur, although mine's a lot nicer than Tom's. Look at that. Look at that.
It's got an atomizer on top of it that makes sense.
It has got a Merlin Mini on top, which is a fucking absolute beaut. I've got the single coil deck in there with the little tight airflow. That's running at 0.86, and I've put in like 20 watts through it. It's fucking great. Mod reckons that it's still giving 4.38 volts off of a half-empty battery, so someone's fucking lying somewhere, but it's working an absolute treat. And in there I've got Ram from Ephemeral, some like hazelnut life.
Nice.
Really fucking good. That's actually a stellar juice. I tried the other two Ephemerals, Lion and Ram. I tried them both at Expo for the first time. And immediately when I got back from Expo, ordered 2 more bottles of Lion because I loved it that much. So can't fuck with that.
Very nice.
Good.
Everyone's quiet tonight. What's going on, lads?
It's like jet lag from Expo, isn't it?
It's just a creeping malaise, isn't it?
Jet lag. You flew to Scotland from fucking Birmingham?
I meant in general, like the whole slowdown of everything.
It was a week ago.
I know, it still feels like you're merging back into...
The back end of Chris is still catching up with the front end of him, though.
Chris in the chat just asked what I think of Panda. Yeah, Panda's really good. I think Lion's the best one.
What's Lion got in it again?
Well, I'll tell you what, Lion is supposed to be like a cinnamon cracker kind of deal, right? But it has some really similar tastes to my palate, to the old Lion's oil, which obviously isn't in the Sheckett range of thick oils. There's definitely some similar flavours going on there, like the bourbon-y kind of tobacco-y sort of stuff in the background. I could just be imagining it because I really want it to taste like Lion, but I reckon there's something going on there.
Nice.
Fucking good juice.
Should we run along with news then, or is
We probably
got
should
that
run
then?
along with news. Yeah, let's all shut up and listen to Damon for a bit.
Oh, I don't mind. You can chip in, obviously, but let's screen share this one. I'm getting over my aversion. Okay, first up, 9-year-old sent to hospital after drinking unicorn milk, e-cigarette fluid. Okay, this is basically a woman in Canada whose 9-year-old daughter was taken to hospital last Monday after drinking an e-cigarette fluid called unicorn milk she found on her school playground. As I said, this was in Canada. How this e-liquid bottle arrived on the ground, we're not sure. Whether there was a cap on it, it doesn't go into that in the article either. But they decided to taste it after, and after that, my daughter wasn't feeling too good. She added, adding her daughter also put some of the liquid on her hand. So yeah, she got Nick sick. And the school contacted her after the children brought the bottle to their teacher, who notified the school's director. What's more alarming here is that Trevor Bostic, who owns New Beginnings, which is a vape studio which manufactures unicorn milk, said the company will consider changing the label in light of what had happened. He said the product was never designed to attract the attention of children. There are many older people who find candy-themed products appealing, Bostic said. They've put a lot of thought into it, he said. If we have to pull it because people decide that's a draw for kids, then we draw it.
Have you seen that video embedded on that article?
I have watched the video, Chris. Yeah, have you?
Yeah, the one with that guy who's like defending the branding.
He owns the company.
Yeah.
But all that effort he's put into the branding as well, just cloning. I don't know who first came up with unicorn milk.
Cutwood, wasn't it?
Wood, yeah.
Was it Cutwood? So all that thought that he put into the branding, slapping a rainbow-coloured unicorn on the label and calling it unicorn milk, might all be for naught. I don't know. What do you reckon, guys?
Maybe he's worried about if he changes his labels, he'll lose all his customer.
Could be a point. Somebody, an angry customer, just decided to toss it over the wall.
Well, see,
I don't know. Go on, Chris.
I've seen some places where the schools, like with bigger like park facilities and playgrounds, etc., they leave them open for the school at night. But I want to know what 18+ adult is hanging around in school playgrounds at night, ready to drop unicorn milk for the morning.
Well,
ask yourself that.
Look at the comment Reese has just put in chat. She found it on the floor. You wouldn't drink a carton of milk off the floor, though, would you? Like,
Hold on a minute. Mum said I could be anything, so I want it to be a unicorn. Simple as.
I don't get it.
Come on, kids are told not to do all sorts of things, aren't they? But
to be fair, there was a woman
push the envelope.
We were told to do putting stuff in our mouths that we found off the floor was pretty high on the list of shit that we listened on.
Well, when I was a kid, my cousin peer pressured me into smoking a roll-up out of a pouch of tobacco he found on the floor.
Hang on, so when you were younger, your cousin pressured you to put something of his in your mouth?
Found it under a bush. But no, I mean, there was a woman that used to walk around the local town who I saw drink a can of beer that someone had left by a bench.
Yeah, but needs must, mate. Hair of the dog.
Anyway, I think that it's not doing us any favours in the mass media, with the mass media picking this shit up.
Well, the thing is, though, we can never get blamed for that because you can't import fucking nicotine into Canada, right? Trust me, I've tried. I have managed to find a way in, but it's very fucking difficult. However, that shit will made and only made in Canada, so Canada to fucking blame. Everyone but Max and maybe one or two others I've met fuck with Canadians because they won't let me in.
But you want Canada on the boner board?
I want Canada to go fuck itself, especially the government in charge of giving out visas.
Well, we can fuck over Malaysia as well while we're on with it.
They're not even a real country anyway.
Yeah.
Have you got the boner board available, Stu?
I've got the boner board available, yeah. Would you like to share it?
If you wouldn't mind, good man.
I don't mind sharing.
Okay, so part of the news this week is let me screen share again. And one for the boner board to add to the list of countries that are fucking up vaping. So that's Thailand, Australia. Where else is got it in for vaping at the moment? There's plenty of other places as well. Malaysian state threatens prison for public vaping. This is the Malaysian state of Selangor. Vaping in a park could earn you a fine of more than 2,300 and up to 2 years in prison. The new law will apply to shopping complexes, air-conditioned building, government property, hospital and gas stations. The penalties apply to smokers too. Selangor is the most populous state in Malaysia, a Southeast Asian country of 30 million that lies in between Indonesia and Thailand. Though Islam is the state religion, Malaysia has a large vaping population and industry and also a large number of smokers. Religious authorities in the company have declared vaping haram, meaning forbidden by Islam. However, the religious edict is widely ignored. Smoking cigarettes is also haram. So basically, add Malaysia on your list of no-go areas in the world if you are a committed vapor.
Who over there has the right to declare that vaping under Islam is haram?
I think it's more that it's shunned rather than it's banned. I think the banning.
I'm not being funny, and this is in no way racist, but there are a lot of Muslim vaping business owners over here.
Well, it's not a Muslim governed country, is it? Muslim is the biggest religion, but it's not a Muslim governed country. There's a difference.
Yeah, but what I mean is, like, Islam. I mean, how many people who follow Islam over here own vaping businesses? I deal with multiple every day. So what I mean is, who over there has decided that is? Because surely, if it's
well, Big Chief Imam must have decided, eh?
But when does that filter over here? Then when are all the businesses going to go up for sale?
To be fair, that article's a bit backwards as well, because it says if you're vaping in a park, you get a fine, blah, blah, blah. And then it lists the different places where it's banned. And they include hospitals and petrol stations, shopping malls and government buildings. So, I mean, they're not unreasonable places to ban vaping. But where the park isn't even mentioned in the list, it's only mentioned in the top.
Basically all public spaces, isn't it, basically?
What, is the street included? Didn't mention that.
I don't know. It seems to going in that kind of outlandish direction. Yeah, it does seem
public places anywhere that's not private. It's as simple as that.
Anyway, I've put Malaysia on the boner board, and I've put them under almost shite because they do good food and it's a nice looking country.
Completely reasonable. Good food, nice looking country, but doesn't like vaping. Fuck them.
Almost shite.
There's a lot of extremely popular juice lines come out of Malaysia.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is.
12 Monkeys is Malaysian, isn't it?
Yeah. I was going to come on to that. The vaping scene out there is outrageous, isn't it? It's massive, and yet vaping shops are being closed down left, right, and centre. And
well, as long as they're not testing juices in hospitals.
Well, I was going to come on to that one as well. That's my next news story. Nice segue, Chris. So bloody Hull hospitals have basically banned hospital staff from vaping. Hull hospital staff are banned from vaping, but patients and visitors aren't. What the fuck? Hospital staff have been ordered not to use e-cigarettes anywhere on site in order to maintain a professional image, but patients and visitors are exempt. Workers are said to be agitated by the ban, which came into force yesterday. If they break the ban, they've been told they will be disciplined. Bosses at Hull and East Yorkshire Hospitals NHS Trust, which runs Hull Royal Infirmary and Castle Hospital in Cottingham, are taking a zero-tolerance approach to smoking, and that includes vaping. One hospital administration worker who doesn't want to be named claims the workforce is largely in agreement with the ban on smoking, but says many are angered by the rules on vaping, given patients and visitors are not allowed to vape within the hospital grounds. She said she would go as far to say it was a form of bullying. So, you know, we've got e-cigs coming into prescriptions, and yet people aren't going to be able to vape them on site.
I don't think they should be allowed to vape them on site. I agree that they shouldn't allow to be able to vape on site. I won't go into hospital myself and start vaping. But when I worked at the hospital, you wasn't even allowed on the grass side of the actual hospital to vape. You had to cross the road to the main road to actually smoke or vape.
I could understand them not allowing it in the building, like, obviously, because how can you differentiate from? You can't say vaping's allowed in the building. Because what's the difference between a Nautilus 2 then and a fucking mech with a Ben Gardner grade fucking stealth build in it? Do you know what I mean? It's just there's no way of differentiating between the two. They couldn't say you're not allowed to use that idea. Well, why not? I'm fucking vaping. But outside, where there's designated smoking areas, the same in Disneyland, they've got please smoke. Butlins, where I've just been this weekend, they have designated smoking areas. They can't say you can't vape outside the building as long as you're in a smoking area, I suppose. But I can't.
Well, it seems like they've gone in the direction of no designated smoking areas whatsoever on the grounds.
Oh, whole shit, anyway.
I don't know if it's the same as like. in Scotland, a lot of the hospitals have we are a completely free airway zone. Don't smoke anywhere on the grounds. But you see staff standing out the back having a fag. Do you know what I mean? It's
Seems shit's getting really cool anyway at the moment. So anyway, one last piece of news, and as Dale's here as well, I'm going to pimp this. And finally, Vape Collective and TYV would like to proudly invite all of you guys to the launch party for Vape Collective this Saturday from 3 p.m. onwards. There'll be discounts and competitions and food and drink. Would be great to see you all there on Saturday from 3 p.m.
I don't fancy it, mate.
Chris will be
I
jet
know
lagged.
you won't be able to make it. Is Chris, are you coming?
No.
Although Tom's got very excuse, Tom's around the corner.
My rod's up a fucking bomb.
You are.
So anyway, yeah, that's the Vape Collective TYV party on Saturday. Should be a doozy. We're looking forward to it. Are we not, Dale?
No.
Should be all right. And then moving on, Stu. That's news done and dusted.
News done. Fucking hell. News flew by this week. Are you staying for the whole show then, Damon?
I can do, yeah. Dolan can't make it, so yeah, I'll sit in and I might be a silent partner tonight, but I'm here for the duty.
Always a seat for you at our table, mate.
Thank you very much.
So, main topic. Dale, we've asked you to come on the show so that you'd have a chance to say your final piece to a wider audience about all this rogue bollocks. So, shall I just turn it over to you and you can tell us the story as you see it?
Yeah, well, I've Googled defamation of character, both libel and slander, to make sure that I'm neither committing either. But since that only comes into play if what is said is false, then I'm pretty fucking sound. So everything I will say will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help you God.
Can we just state before Dale tells us the story? Dale did tell us last week, but out of respect for Dale, we wanted this story to come from Dale. We didn't cover it that much last week, so that's why Dale's on this week.
I appreciate that. And also, Chris was present when shit had just gone down at Expo. So Chris has read every single message on my phone involving this, so can confirm or deny anything I say. And if anyone who knows mine and Chris's relationship, we are mates, but I would call him a cunt because he's a cunt, and he would do the same thing to me. So he will say if I'm lying, but I will, to the best of my knowledge, withdraw from what I've blocked out.
Yeah.
So for the past year, we've distributed Rogue mods, and as far as I know, or Tom might tell me different, there was one in the UK when we took Rogue on. At the time of taking it on, it was J-Mark's choice between us and one other person, one other company. And at that time, I had beef with the other company that was in the frame to take them on. So I was like, fuck it, yeah, get them for us. So Tom did the deal and we started talking. And we took on Rogues and we launched them at Expo in May last year. And the agreement was, and always has been, quite clearly, if it's sold in the UK, it comes to us, whether it be wholesale, retail, or whatever. If people go to an American show and buy a mod and they're from the UK, or they stock up the shop there and they don't know about it, I can't do nothing about that. And we've had instances of that. It don't bother me. It's out of Mark's control. But Tom, would you agree with that? That anything sold to a shop in the UK was always through us, and we always honoured our agreement. We ordered as much as we could, as often as we could. But sometimes, with the nature of the LE mods specifically, it took time to get them made and shipped over to us.
100%, mate. 100%.
May went well. They were well received. On it went. October came round. Obviously, J-Mark came over and his wife Jackie, and we did the show together. And it were responding to really well. The RDA's launched. It went shit hot. One or two times I did kind of spy. The whole deal was we would order from Mark, have them in the cabinet, and Mark would always bring his Pelican case, which we used to take the piss out of him for, which were full of mods, so that if we were to sell out, we would then buy more off him to put in the cabinet. So it was like a backup, which was really fucking helpful. I did spot once or twice, me and Tom both spotted him selling directly out of his case before we'd sold out and all that sort of stuff at October Expo, and I were a bit like, you know what, fair play, we've made a fair bit of money, I'll let it go. So this Expo comes round, We forked out for his hotel. Fair enough, he paid for his flights over, but we booked his hotel, paid for his hotel, and his wife and stuff that came over. And on the Saturday, I think it was, we were going about his business, and basically all I saw was them two processing a payment for a mod, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, I've got a fucking cabinet of them here. Why is this being sold? Spoke to a few of the guys, and it looked as if Mark had done his own little cheeky deal again. I thought, do you know what? Fair dues. Later on the Saturday, one of our sponsors introduced me to a guy from a UK shop. I'm not going to name the UK shop because I've spoken to them and we're still on good terms. We're a UK-based shop, and we did a deal with him for 10 LE mods. So it wasn't a huge order, but it was an order nonetheless. It was on a wholesale basis. And I said to him, look, mate, it's the thicker Saturday. We've got this stock here. We do have access to backups, but I can't give you 10 LEs in the middle of the early stages of a retail day on Saturday, busiest day. He says, no problem, mate. I'll come back Sunday afternoon. So he comes back on Sunday afternoon. I'm off at Vampire Vape, getting some stock for the shop. And I get a phone call off Lindsay. Basically, Mark said to Lindsay 3 times at this point, can we do this deal? And Lindsay, to be fair, stuck to her guns and said, well, no, that's our job. It's been sold in the UK. You know, if we need some more stock, we'll buy it from you and sell it on. So he kept asking and asking and asking. And Lindsay rang me and told me, I said, you know what, right, there's a couple of little things that pissed me off for the past 2 expos. Let's just don't tell him no again. The fact that he's asked in the first place means he knows that he shouldn't be fucking doing it. You know, why would you ask permission if you didn't think you were doing nothing wrong? You know, you just do it. So yeah. I said, don't tell him no again. Just see if he fucking does it. Next thing, I get a phone call. He's just sold 10 mods direct from his case, not through us, to this shop. So I fucking lost my shit. I was like, right, I'm going outside because a personal situation, I mean, I can't get fucking angry with people. I just have to leave. So I took myself away from the situation. I was like, fuck it, I'm going outside to cool down. Otherwise, I'll just end up sparking the cunt. Because I was really absolutely fucking raging about it. Then I get another phone call. Oh, Mark and Jackie have asked if you can take the payment for them on your card machine because theirs isn't working. To which I replied, tell them to jog the fuck on. I'm not facilitating that payment and facilitating the whole fuck over. Just it doesn't sound like it's much, but from a year-long agreement that we've had that we distributed them and the money we've spent over 3 expos in advertising and buying mods must have at least gone over 100 grand by now, and that's a lot of money for. We're still a small family-run business in a growth stage. That's a hell of a lot of money to take away from manufacturing and put into someone else's advertising. Now, we benefited from it, don't get me wrong, we made money from it. That's why we did it. And there were and are good mods. So that were that. I was just like, we're not fucking doing it. And then Mark couldn't see what he'd done wrong and he texted me and I basically said to him, it's fucking game over. Now, during this year-long agreement, we were making Attiboy for it. Under the agreement, Mark rang me and basically said, we want you to make it. We don't want anyone else, even in America, to make it. You make it. We'll give you 50% of Attiboy as the brand itself. You make it, and that was 50% of the brand. We did make an agreement on what the manufacturing was and how we split the profit and stuff like that, but respective, the company was half mine. That's in Attiboy. Mark then reneged on that when the argument started. Accused us of having expo stands that were too elaborate. He basically said that the reason he couldn't admit what he'd done wrong, he didn't see what he'd done wrong. But he
too elaborate in what way, though, Dale? Did he expand?
He said that we were shit distributors. So you know, it's not like Chris said last week, and I'm not naive to believe it. That I don't know a mech user who hasn't at least used one, let alone owned one, right? And that wouldn't have been unless it was for me, Tom, Scott, the team, you know, everyone involved in TYV and the whole Rogue build-up.
And previously to that, he'd not made any complaint at all about your whole.
Never mentioned a fucking thing. The only complaints we'd ever had was us complaining to him about pricing on certain things, like the RDA, which me and Tom were trying to sort out when they were getting released. Yeah. There was no money in them. I understand what he was trying to do so that his machinist, him, and us made the same money, but I've had a similar conversation with Max before, and I let him know how the UK tax system works, because everywhere else in the world, it's the price you see plus the local relevant tax of the state of the country. Over here, we've always been a country of, unless you go to a cash and carry, what the price on the shelf is, that's including VAT. Yeah. So I'll try to explain that and the fact that we couldn't sell an RDA for 140 quid, no matter how fucking good it was. It just won't going to happen. You know, the days the pie squared are fucked off. Do you know what I mean? It were never going to happen. And then he basically went on after no complaints for a year, saying that he'd made no money offers. We'd never ordered enough for distro, and I was just like, well, I can only order, and we'd never got it into any shops. Now this is the best bit. We got it into a couple of shops, and they never reordered, and they always said there wasn't enough money in it for them, which I understood. But not only did he wholesale those mods to that shop, he wholesaled those mods to that shop for $50 less per mod than we've ever fucking paid for them.
Yeah, that's the bit that really made my mouth.
That's what really wound me up, because he turned around to me and he said, well, you've never ordered enough to get distro pricing. One, bullshit, we haven't, right? We spent tens of thousands on ordering for export, and I mean we spent more on that than we did our own fucking stuff.
Well, hang on a minute. Your current stock, despite the fact that you're selling them all off, is higher than 10 fucking mods.
Well, yeah, fuck me, we ordered about 30 or 40 LEs for the show.
Right.
So that alone was fucking 4 times more than this other geezer bought. And then he turned around and said that we owed him money for mods, and I was just from this show, and I was like, well, no, we don't, because in all fairness, I've paid for everything you brought over, and you owe me $50 for about 300, 400 LEs worth of fucking bought off you. So technically, you owe me about 20 grand. So, and he even said to him, look, I'm not arguing with you. Fuck off. And then I spent the last week or so just plainly saying, I don't know how I can say it any easier, you need to just fucking go away. And I've had the typical American thing of my attorney this, my attorney that, we're going to sue you this, we're going to sue you that. We've never had a distribution contract in place. Now, that's to my bad. I can't pursue him for what he did to me at Expo. I have principles on it, so I can just tell him to fuck off. I have no ramification whatsoever. Plus, after speaking to my solicitors about it, it cost me a fortune to sue him anyway for breaking an agreement. However,
Dale, just going back to this undercutting your costs thing. Did he give you any kind of explanation for his reasoning for doing that? Apart from wanting to sell them, obviously.
Now doesn't. He said that because I wasn't on the stand, I wasn't there to facilitate the deal. I said I have fucking 10 people who work on that stand with me who do it every day. Do you know what I mean? They're not fucking wet behind the ears. They're experienced staff. Some of them have been with us over. Me and Lindsay have been doing it for 2.5 fucking years, and Lindsay were there. Do you know what I mean? Oh, nearly 3 years now. So it's a load of bollocks. We had Jason there who's taking wholesale payments every day, so he knows how to do all that sort of stuff. Scott's worked for us since 9-10 months now. Even James and Nat were there. Fuck me, James has been there for 18 months now.
Yeah, right.
There was plenty of people there who know how to take a payment and know how to process a wholesale order. And then the best bit, I don't know if it was him or his wife, one of them picked up our wholesale catalogue, looked at the prices, this was just before actually, all the shit went down, and basically said we were too expensive. I was like, well, afterwards I was just like, well, no fucking shit. You know what I mean? We've been as expensive as to reflect the prices you're charging me, and now I find out I've been paying a fucking fortune more than I should have been. Do you know what I mean? You're taking the fucking piss. And there's still now, he has not admitted that he did anything wrong. He was well within his rights to do what he did. We never had full distribution, even though that's utter shit. Is it not, Tom?
That's bollocks.
We had full distribution of it since the day it started. And
well, that was public knowledge as far as I was aware. It was public knowledge that you had full distro.
If you asked anyone where to get an endless from, where would you say? Even though a lot of shops sell them, where would you? If someone said to you, where can I get an endless? Where would you say?
Oh, right.
Say Paul, wouldn't you? Or Tom? Yeah. You know what I mean?
No, you wouldn't say anywhere else for Rogue apart from TYV.
Even if your local shop sold them, you'd still say TYV is a matter of course. It's the same with certain mods in certain areas of who does what. Vapors Clan, where did you get it from? Speak to Burr. It's just, you know what I mean? It's what people do. It's the not the clicks, but it's what people get to know, and that was what fucked me off. He had no traction in this country. He probably would have had, but I can't think of anyone who would have promoted it and put as much money into the promotion of it than we did.
What bugs me is, like, if he was under this impression that you weren't ever a distributor, what shop in your right mind do you know that puts another person's brand on all of their clothing, their fucking cars, The side of the fucking stand, like an 18, I don't know how big it was, 18-foot fucking tall Rogue mod. There's no shop in the world that stocks any product that's going to spend that much money on advertising it unless they're distributing it. Just doesn't make sense.
It's still on my fucking car now, and it's pissing me off because I can't get in for 2 weeks. So I have it removed. But yeah, it's just one of them things. And like I said, Chris, you've seen it back to back. Like he never made any sort of admission. He never took ownership for what he'd done. And I've been arguing with him weeks on, weeks off. The downside, like I say, is we never had a contract with him. The upside is he never had a contract with us. So, Boy, for example, it's not trademarked in the UK, but I don't want to use a brand that I would define as greedy. I think it's a greedy fucking brand. I noticed a couple of months ago, and I can be backed up by a couple of our guys that I mentioned months ago, there's a bit of greed going on here, and I don't want to say specifically get personal about it, but to do with people who was involved in Rogue, and I was just like, it's getting a bit down. In fact, that stems back to the RDAs, Tom, really. If you think about it, the shit we were going through with them. We were responsible for it. We decided to take it on, so we dealt with that. But I'm getting fucked off now. It's just really fucking pissing me off just how fucking much I got shafted. But what it is, he slagged us off. One of the fucking things he used to make a point was, he said he noticed a few months ago that my main focal point it wasn't Rogue, it was juice manufacturing. I was like, I'm a fucking juice manufacturer, you knobhead. What else is gonna be my main focal point? Because when inevitably Rogue fucks me over, or Cotton Candy fucks me over, or some other fucking American shaft artist comes and does me over for summer, I'm gonna get fucked again. Where's my fallback? In my core product, in what I'm good at. Do you know what I mean? Of course. Why would I spend fuck knows how many hundreds of thousands of pounds on a lab setup and all the stock for it? I'll tell you what, do you know what? I've got 30 mods to sell this weekend. Fuck that lot. Do you know what I mean? It's not going to happen. That is and always will be my main focal point.
Yeah,
will we stretch out to other stuff? Yeah. And we'll do his best for it. Like I honestly believe we did with Rogue. But it's Martin, I've just seen Martin's comment in chat. Mark never paid 1 penny towards Rogue advertising in the UK. To be fair, I never asked him to because I saw that as our job. We could push it as much or as little as we wanted to. And it was our decision to push it that far. This, on the other hand, is fucking hilarious. We were going to do a joint show in Dublin. Now, Mark and Jackie, when they do shows in America, Tom will show it, they'll either get a 3x3 or a 6x3 stand. Right? Nothing wrong with that. Perfect fucking stand. He puts a backdrop up, does his thing. Rogues being rogues, they sell anyway. They mentioned the Dublin show, and I said, well, I'd like to do that because we're registered to sell our juice in Ireland. So why don't you get a 6x6 stand, and I'll bring our stand over because it's already got fucking huge rogues on it and all that sort of stuff. Bear in mind that stand cost us probably 15,000 for that whole big printed cube thing that we had. I'll ferry it all over, send me your stock, and the deal was that's Mark's stand on his side. We weren't selling rogues at that point. That was him exhibiting for himself. No problem. Now, the prices for that show were a lot more reasonable than... I'm not going to say that the prices for Expo are bad. To be fair, Expo is really reasonable compared to some other UK shows. But the prices for this show in Dublin were probably half or a bit less than the prices of Expo. So I thought, fair enough. You know, Mark said... I assumed, maybe wrongly so, that Mark was going to pay for the booth since I was taking a 15 grand stand with me and ferrying all his shit over there and all the fucking roller cases and the cabinets, which travel alone were going to cost me about 3 or 4 grand without hotels. Jesus. To then get a request off him about a month or two ago asking if I'd pay half towards the floor stand space.
Ha!
We've never asked him for a fucking penny. And then I got asked that. And do you know what I said? I said, yeah, like a dickhead.
Do you know what? There's a lot you can put 2 and 2 together with here, and I don't know how much we will be able to say legally, really, but him undercutting you and then asking for money off you all points into one direction.
He's now agreed that we don't owe him any money. That has been agreed between us both now. And he probably stands to owe me a lot of money. I'm not bothered. I don't care. All I've asked for the past week and a bit is, can you just fuck off now? But what he's now focusing on is the fact that we have the recipes to Atty Boy, we have the artwork, and to be fair, he sent me a fucking logo, and we paid our designer to put it onto boxes, to relabel the designs. And last night I said to him, I'm sending you all your artwork back, and I'm deleting it all off the system because regardless of what happens with the recipes, I don't want to use Boy. It's that and Rogue to me now is greedy. It's everything that resembles something I don't want to be. I am a lot of things. I am outspoken. I am a cunt. I can be rude. I'm an odd person to have to deal with on a daily basis. Any of my staff will tell you that. But I am not a greedy cunt. I have never been a greedy person. At the rates we charge for anything in manufacturing, any sort of service we provide, I believe are always reasonable. And I won't be associated with greed, and I won't be taking the piss out of through greed either.
I assume you'll be drawing up contracts for absolutely every business endeavour you take part in from this point on as well.
Well, we do that anyway. It's sensible. I mean, me and Dolan are fucking fantastic friends, really fucking good friends. And that was the whole joke I posted the other day about American mod makers just want to fuck everyone over. And now we're at the seaside with a competitor. Do you know what I mean? Or enjoying a day out with a family who, whilst we're mates, they're still my competition in the UK. Paul and Tom are my competition in the UK. We're all competition, but there's some of us who realise that there's enough to go around.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of shops and a lot of websites opening, but there are 10 times that many people quitting smoking in the UK every day. So there is always enough business to go around.
But you're forgetting some key points here. Can I just interject? You missed out the fact that they asked you to facilitate the payment.
Oh yeah, I mentioned that. I totally go fuck myself.
I don't. You didn't mention. I don't think you actually mentioned.
Then they took a selfie in front of my stand. The guy and Mark, when they did a deal, took a selfie in front of the stand. Like they were just really mugging me off then.
Can I just ask a question? I've actually, because I mean, I've gone through and I've read every single message. And I'm talking fucking war and peace in text message form. Like, I was getting every 10 minutes. You finish it. I'm about a third of the way down, mate. But there was a lot of conversation and a lot to take in. But one thing I never really established from that, if he'd have said to you when you got back to the stand, I've just sold 10 mods out the case because I didn't know which ones you wanted me to touch in your cabinet. Here's your share of the profits. Would you have been as pissed off for the fact that he just said, oh, I haven't done fuck all wrong, you're the bad guy?
No, to be honest, if it had come to me and said that, I'd have been fine with it because I wasn't there to, not that I feel I needed to be there. I feel I've got the staff who are more than adequate to complete said transaction. But yeah, that would have been fine because it was. I just want to clarify. It wasn't me being greedy saying that I wanted my cut. That wasn't it. It was the fact that it undercut what he'd ever sold me for. That fucking wound me up. So I was thinking, if he's paying that, why have I been paying that? And also, what the fuck should I be paying? If that's wholesale, what should I be paying distro? Do you know what I mean? Like, but I keep going back to the money thing. That was the premise of that pissed me off. It wasn't if I was greedy, I'd be chasing him for the fucking 15 grand he owed me. Do you know what I mean? I'm not asked about that.
Yeah,
that was worth every penny. For me, it's more a case of I wanted him to stick to the channels that we've always stuck to. This is why it pisses me off that he argues about Boy, because every time I bring it up, like, and I want to run something by him, like a design change, or for example, one of the concentrates there was an issue with. I don't know whether it was the UK supply of it in Boy in one of the concentrates or not, but it was causing a massive separating issue in the juice. And I'm like, I'm going to have to swap this out for the same flavour in a different concentrate, and that's the only way we can do it because this stuff is fucked. And he said, you don't have to run that past me, bro. It's half yours. You know, and he kept always on that point. You don't have to run it past me. It's half yours. I was like, I had the respect to run everything fucking past him. I showed him the stand before we had it printed. I let him proof every single thing we had printed of Rogue. We only ever got good shit back from him. I never had one drop of bad feedback from him, which is when all this shit come out, you've got elaborate stands. Like, I'm really sorry for paying that money to advertise your fucking product, you dickhead. But, you know, all these things that were throwing at us about shit this, you've not done
that's just straw grasping though, isn't it? Too much of an elaborate stand. I mean, I was talking about this to Tracy the other night. You know, some people, I guess, may find it confusing that under the main TYV brand, you've got subsidiary brands. But I think that's shrewd. You know, I don't think that too elaborate is just straw grasping and excuses. Surely,
he was saying that it was too out. I think he was getting at the fact that it was too big, it was too in your face. I was like, bro, did you see the fucking stands around ours?
That's the point of doing it.
Elaborate. Go to fucking stage. There was a temple.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was a castle, for fuck's sake. Mine's elaborate because I've got a fucking oblong that's 12 foot high. But oh yeah, riot squad are fine with a fucking riot van and a castle. I don't see how either of those would be in the same time in the world. However, you never see a riot van on the Age of Empires. I'm just saying. But by the by, that's not outlandish, but that is. He said that my ego. The only reason we went to the award show is because of my ego. I went to the award show like everyone else went to, hoping I'd win a fucking award. I was under no. I'm not going to get into a slamming match about Vape Round. That's a whole other fucking argument. But I went there with a thought as a juice manufacturer who'd entered products or something. Maybe I could win something. But I'm in a category with 900 other products. You know what I mean? I'm going there to say thank you to my staff. We worked his balls off to have an hour to get ready and then go wearing the most uncomfortable suits ever to a fucking put-on show that's fixed like a motherfucker, right? I went there for comfort and an open bar, and I drank like a motherfucker because it was an open bar, and I don't drink. You know, it was a thank you to my staff, and I took them two fuckers with me, and all he kept doing was storming out. He kept storming out every 5 minutes, and this was after the Best Mod award came out, and he said he kept storming out because he was sickened that we hadn't won any awards. It's funny how he started storming out when Rig won Best Mod. That's when he started storming out. I might be 28, I might be young, but I'm not fucking stupid. Do you know what I mean? It was stroppy because he hadn't won. That's all it was. And for him to throw that in my face, that was 600 quid worth of 2 seats for the ungrateful bastards. I could have taken 2 other people. Do you know what I mean? I didn't go because of my ego. I went because I wanted to treat myself and I wanted to treat my staff. Trust me, I might have an ego, but I won't put $3,000 into it for a fucking deal.
Those 2 seats could have fit me.
Yeah, one on each cheek.
Yeah. Can I just quickly? I know we're talking about Rogan. We'll go back into. I just want to just mention something about those awards. I had a call from Charlie Kent last week. Do any of you guys know who he is?
From Subo Magazine.
From Subo Magazine.
Yeah.
Now, I met Charlie at, I think, Vape Jam last year. It might have been the first expo, whatever came first, when they were just starting out this magazine. And we had a long chat, because I was a bit dubious about the fact that, obviously, some new guy was setting up a magazine, and I wanted to know what he knew about vaping, etc., etc. And I spoke to him for a good while, and at every show he always comes and finds me, and asks me questions about who he should go and see and stuff like that. I had a call on Monday and said, look, Monday or Tuesday, he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm really sorry I didn't get to see you at the show. We didn't get in." I says, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, we didn't get in. They actually booked a hotel, travelled to Birmingham, went to collect tickets to enter, and was told to go away."
I heard the refused entry, yeah.
Because of a conflict of interest with Vape Around. So,
well, did they not get in on they didn't have press tickets then, Chris?
I'm not entirely sure whether they booked press tickets and got turned away because obviously their name was down on the list as like, do not let them in. Because I'm presuming that if they'd have bought, regular tickets, they wouldn't have been checked enough to know who they were. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, I think they went to get their press tickets and were turned away, which I think is a real shame. It's like saying, I don't know, so and so have spent X thousands of pounds with.
Well, it's almost like saying that any other press won't get in. It seems strange to silence the press who are going to make your event public.
Well, it's like saying, I don't know, a juice line has spent 20 grand with a show this time. They've booked a 20 by 20 pitch and spent a lot of money, so no other juice lines can come in. I mean, I'm not being funny, but I don't understand. I understand that Vape Around took a big part of this show, but I think it's really unfair that they were just pushed out, especially after they travelled all the way there and booked hotels or whatever, and were kicked out of the door.
Going back to this rogue thing, then, Dale, what have you taken away from this? What positives can you take away from this, and will it make you change any of your business practices in the future?
I won't say I'll never do business with an American company again, But, for example, we stopped dealing with China, and when I said China, I mean buying our hardware, general hardware, like Aspire stuff and everything from China now, and we stopped doing that about 3 months ago because we just ended up with a huge bucket of returns in the back. Granted, it's over 18 months worth of returns, and it's not a huge return compared to what we've sold, but I can never return that, and it's still a loss. So we've decided it's worth it now to spend the extra money in the UK from their distributors, because we've had faulty Aspire Zelos kits. We've sent them back to the distro, and with our order, they've sent me 2 more. No problem. And that's worth the extra couple of quid a mod that we swallow. We don't put the prices up because of it. That's worth it for us to be able to save money there. And I think having two, do you know what's fucking ironic? Both American companies that fucked me over are both from North Carolina. It must just be something cunty in the water. But it's just that's it. You know, I just probably won't deal with Americans again. I won't deal with them in any sort of distribution capacity. We'll still stock American juice. We'll still, you know, do our everyday thing. But as far as distribution goes, I won't bother with it. And the only other thing I will say on the back of it, and I hope it's not just Rogue that's been fucked over. Anyone who's followed TYV for a while knows the sort of loyal customer base we have, especially the sponsorship team, man, through and through, loyal to the bone, man. We had an issue with a 60,000 bottle order, and 2 of our sponsors, and this is not ragging against any of the others. People have got commitments, you know what I mean? I get that, but 2 of them dropped it, travelled 250 miles to stop over here for a week to help us the day after. You know, like, well, fucking hell, this is a big job here, and you don't get that often. I'm not knocking any other. I'm not saying it doesn't exist elsewhere. But we have a fucking solid membership, a solid sponsorship team, and unfortunately, that got not disbanded, but someone decided to leave and stick with the other side, even having known and seen what had been done to us. One of the team decided to leave and stick with Rogue, which is fine. We still sponsor someone who is sponsored by both teams. The only thing we've ever asked is, or asked of the sponsors is, we've never said choose, because the natural reaction to anyone who makes you choose between something is, I'm not going to choose the one who's put that choice in front of me. And I get that. All we said is, you do what you want to do in regards to Rogue, because a lot of TYV sponsors were Rogue sponsors also, if not all of them. And all we said was, please don't post our products in the same photos as theirs. I don't want any connection of my business to that, what I would call now a shit house. That's my opinion, not anyone else. That's my personal opinion. One person took that as a choice that it was given, and basically dropped us like a sack of shit and moved on. So it's had other effects as well, which is a shame, because we were all really good mates, really close-knit mates. So that's a shame. But, you know, people know me.
I said this on a status that you posted about how, give it 6 months, give it a year maybe, you'll look back on this and you'll see it as a positive. You know what I mean? It's shit like this that lets you weed out the people that aren't looking after you and be left surrounded by the people that you can trust.
Yeah. And the thing is, mate, I wouldn't say I'm known for fucking people over. I almost said that, and I meant that completely. I said that completely wrong. If someone fucks me over or mugs me off twice now, where we've been done out of a lot of money on distribution deals for nothing other than greed, for nothing other than we've done our job, grown a brand to where they would hopefully expect it to be, and then they thought, you know what, we can do more with someone else now, and that's what's happened twice. And the last person who did it to us, Tom knows full well how out of my way I fucking went to make sure that we did the same fucking thing as them, but better and cheaper. And the whole point of that was to, you fucked me right in the arse here, so I'm going to show what I can fucking do. We're nowhere near as big as the companies who have fucked us over in regards to probably turnover and popularity at the time. But I'm fucking determined that if you fucking screw me over when I've done nothing to wrong you in any way, I will do my absolute fucking best to put you back in your fucking place where you were before we picked you up. And I did that with Cotton Candy, with Fuzz. As far as I'm concerned, Fuzz is now more sold in the UK than Cotton Candy is.
Probably the most popular branded cotton in the UK, isn't it?
You've got to wonder if Knott's got a chance in hell of getting picked up for destroying the UK again.
even do you know what, mate? For me, that's I'm not asked. If he does, great. I'll never knock the mod. I'm fucking using one, not for effects, because I fucking think they're good mods, right? Not when they're covered in fucking juice, they're not. But you know, they're great mods. The problem he's got is, and it's win-win. He fucked us over out of greed. Now the two options he's got is no one will pick him up at his current prices, and if someone does pick him up, he'll have to reduce his prices. So his greed hasn't won. He's having to take less money for the same product. And if he does that as a fuck you deal, I'll show you, I'll get back in the country. I've won anyway, as far as I'm concerned, because he's had to fucking reduce his price. So I'm not bothered. However, I have more than a few irons in the fire. I had a couple of projects I wanted to work on a while ago and didn't do out of respect for Mark and what he was doing. I didn't want to tread on toes. I have some irons in the fire now to put my own unique spin on a few things. Even the branding is, let's say, not discreet. It's not a fucking rouge.
You've got irons in the fire. When are you going to be able to unveil some information then?
It'll be a while yet.
Okay.
Some people know I've been working on in regards to the squonk thing for a while. I had a name in my head pop into my head, which I thought was funny. So that was always a thought, but I never got round to it. And to be honest, I might still never get round to it. We're that fucking busy, but it's nice to still be busy having just had that happen. It's nice to know that people still support us. And the one thing we have had, which I can't thank everyone enough for, is fucking support. Like, serious support as well. Like, the amount of people you see on social media. I didn't lie one fucking bit in what we posted. And I did that a two-part. One, to let people know what had gone on, and two, in the hope that certain people would screenshot it. It would make its way back to the person who'd done it so he could see just how fucking annoyed I was, because I don't think they actually realised how upset I was. I were in tears on the Sunday because one of my best mates had fucked me over, and that's what it had become over that year. I spoke to that guy twice a day, if not more, you know, and he fucking shafted me. So that's what I were upset about more than anything. But, you know, fuck him. I don't care. He's at the back of my mind. We've had fantastic support from people. I mean, you know, it's no fucking secret that me and Tom have had plenty of crosswords in the past 6 months, or 6 months ago, and haven't had any words for the past 6 months, pretty much. But I spoke to Tom the other day, and even Tom, you know, even Tom supported us and stuff, knowing it. Could have avoided it by fucking listening to him 6 months ago, but maybe me, I just didn't, did I? So, you know, it's helped me start to build bridges closer to home now, which I am thankful for.
Well, if there's one positive, then you and Big Tom, like, getting back on speaking terms is a good thing to get along with, isn't it?
Was it an expensive lesson that was worth learning?
Oh, mate, if what I've got in my head comes to fruition, then fucking certainly.
I think at the end of the day, the way that Dale still received a lot of support from the community is because I think a lot of people also see that Dale is for the community as much as Dale's being modest and saying he's not fucking greedy and all this stuff. I think a lot of people know that, and I know that particularly. And the support's been there because Dale's not throwing shit down people's faces and being the sort of person he has been for the last 2.5 years. And yeah, me and Dale has probably had crosswords and not spoke for 6 months, but I'd still never ever wish anything like this on him. And that's what a lot of people are thinking as well. You know, Dale does graft. He fucking works his ass off. The company works his ass off. All the staff work their ass off, and they don't deserve this. So I think at the end of the day, the support is what it should be, and it's not false. And people should be right in supporting UK brands, especially with people like Dale who do graft their fucking ass off. So take your hat off to Dale and fucking congratulate him for the work he's doing and still doing and going to continue to do. And we all need to carry on supporting the UK brands and making sure that food is on the fucking table for our own.
I mean, you're talking about the fact that the money is essentially doesn't mean anything, really. It's more the fact that Mark was your best friend. And I mean, I hate to fucking say this, and I hate to say it's live, especially with you here, but some of the things I've seen Dale do for other people over the fucking... Look at Ben Gardner at the minute. His little girl is going through fucking hell at the minute. I don't want to go into, it's not my business to discuss publicly, but she's going through a really shit time, and Dale's gone out and bought her I'm not being funny, right? I think she would have been happy with a fucking VTech, but he's gone out and bought one of the fucking sickest laptops on the market for, you know, to hope that it will help make her feel better during the shit she's going through. And it's like, that's stuff that you don't get normally. And, you know, the word family's thrown around a lot. But when it comes down to TYV, it is a family. And I mean, like, for instance, we are like brother and sister. You've got the tits, you're the sister. But do you know what I mean? We fight about all sorts of shit. You know, any opportunity to kick each other in the nuts, we will. But at the same time, you know, I could book a hotel in Leeds tomorrow and know that I'm welcome there for the next fucking 2 weeks if I wanted to be.
Minutes.
Well, take me 2 minutes to get out of the fucking car. But, no, it's the fucking, it's mad. And to be honest,
I couldn't agree more with that. And me and Lindsay don't do what we do so that we get a Facebook post out of it. We do it because, you know, I'm not taking away from Phil or Ellie or any of the sponsors, but Ben has been sponsored by us the longest. And there is nothing that fucking guy won't do for us or has never not done for us. You know what I mean? All the guys do it, but I mean, just this specific situation was to do with Ben. I've never met his daughter. I spoke to her the other day on Facebook and stuff, but like, it was because of what Ben has done for us and the treatment he's given us as family. And like I say, it's fam and familia, family, the fucking lot of it's banded around too much, and it becomes meaningless in those aspects. But yeah, I'll be honest, as fucking sappy as this sounds, I honestly believe, in my opinion, that's why me and Tom fell out for as long as we did, because Tom was a huge part of TYV family, a huge part of building it up. It was there from the early stages. And when two people argue to a point where it can't be repaired and that sort of split happens, that's what those people don't talk for months, because it's not the same as just, you know, a person and an employee just, right, see you later, bye. You know, it's not the same as that. It's losing a fucking right arm, it's losing a left arm, and you don't want them to be anywhere else. They don't possibly want to be somewhere else, but that's just that's what's got to happen to eventually get back to a good place at some point. People who didn't have that respect in the first place wouldn't end up ever getting back to talking. Look at you and Damien. You didn't speak for fucking how long? And then eventually it came full circle again, and you fucking mates.
Yeah. You know what they say? If you love it, set it free.
Bless.
We didn't have a big enough net.
There's apparently, just to change topic for a minute, there's apparently some pretty major problems with YouTube tonight. So a lot of people in chat are experiencing problem with buffering or freezing. So thanks for bearing with us. Stuart can't get back in to join us on Hangouts, unfortunately. So what are we going to do with the boner board? Shall I share the boner wall?
Yeah, we will still go ahead with the boner wall. I think if Stu wants to send me some boners,
well, he's reloaded about seven times and he just can't get back in. So I'll upload the boner wall and control that. Chris, do you want to start uploading yours to the boner wall for this week, mate?
Oh, I really wanted Stuart to be here for this as well, but I will go ahead and do it when you start. No, he's not. He doesn't deserve a space on our boner wall.
Okay. The cum section. What?